Hey guys, it is Wingy here and welcome to another Big Finish review. This time we are talking about the third Paul McGann adventure known as the Stones of Venice. That is right, isn't it? I never seem to get the title of this story right. I mean, to be fair, because I don't really remember the name of the story, that's kind of going to be an indication of where this review is going. Now, I've got to admit, I am really enjoying Big Finish a lot more than I thought I would. I knew I would like it from the stories that I'd listened to beforehand, but there's something about Big Finish where I think there's a stigma attached to it, where because it's audio, because you don't have actual visuals, some people are put off by it, and I get it. However, this Paul McGann run of stories is absolutely fantastic. Not flawless though. So the Stones of Venice, or whatever this story's called, the Venice one, is probably my least favourite Paul McGann story thus far. I mean, obviously we're only 3 episodes in, really, but this is a clear standout of... But then again, I can't even say that it's bad, because I don't think that it's an objectively bad story. I would put this in the same ballpark as something like A Tooth and Claw from Series 2, in the sense of it's an enjoyable story whilst you're watching it. However, when you're not watching it, you don't think about it, you don't really remember much about it, and you don't really have any obligation to go back and watch it. It just so happens to be one of those stories that if it's on, oh yeah, I'll watch that. Oh, actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then the cycle repeats. You just don't remember it again and you have no desire to go and check it out. And I think that is the main issue that I have with this story. Now, in terms of the way that it presents itself, I don't necessarily think it's the worst story in the world. I just think it's a little bit formulaic and it's a little bit predictable in places. Again, hearing Paul McGann is absolutely fantastic. I love his relationship with India Fisher. I think her character growth up to this point has been fantastic as well. But I think the other thing about this story that I kind of enjoyed was the way that they used the setting as much as they possibly could. And I know that kind of sounds weird because they obviously didn't fly over to Venice to film this story because they couldn't have done. It's audio, but it makes you feel like you are in this city. The world building in this story, I must admit, is pretty strong. It's just the people in the world and in and around the world aren't the most interesting, and I don't really care about what happens that much. So first of all, you've got this class divide almost, because you've got the higher ups and the sort of religious types, and below the surface you've got sort of pauper types who are evolved humans, I think, and the sort of amphibious, I think they say that they are. Have I made this up? This sounds like I've made it up as I'm saying it, but I'm pretty sure that's in this. Either way, the stuff that goes on between those two sets of characters, it's boring, to be honest. I don't find any of the characters interesting. I find some of them quite cheesy, particularly Mark Gatiss, I've got to admit. I think at this stage as well, listening to Big Finish the way that I have, it does get a bit annoying. I mean, obviously it's changed later on because they've been able to bring in new people, but I'm kind of sick of hearing the same actors. Like, I think Barnaby Edwards is in this story as well as in Storm Warning, and you can tell that it's the same guy. And Mark Gatiss obviously is in this. He was in Sword of Orion as well. I mean, Paul McGann and India Fisher, you don't mind because they're the lead, but when the guest cast all sound the same, that's something that I picked up on, and I think that's part of the reason why maybe I didn't engage with some of the characters as I probably should have, because I'm like, oh, well, where have I heard that voice before? Where have I heard this character before? Oh, that's this person voicing him again. It's not their fault. I'm not going to hold it against them, because obviously Big Finish had to start out somewhere, and they obviously weren't going to have the big pool of actors that they probably have now. Even to now, they've probably got limitations. But back in the day, I imagine it was a hell of a lot worse. But I thought I would bring this up now because it is something that annoys me. It is a bit of a problem. For me personally, I know not everyone is going to have that issue, and other people are just going to be like, Doctor Who reused actors all the time. Yes, they do. However, in a visual sense, you can at least see them differently. When they sound the same and it's all you can hear, well then that's all you can focus on. In my mind anyway, that's kind of how I work. Anyway, so you got these characters that are like, you know, sub people and people who are higher up, and the religious type, and they worship this woman, and she's this incredible goddess who's going to save the world, and it goes in a way that you know exactly how it's going to play out. I'm not going to spoil it here. I know it's been out for years, but I don't tend to spoil stuff unless I absolutely have to. But it does kind of play out the way that you expect it to. And there was a thing in this story that I will say, to be fair, I didn't really see coming, but I didn't mind it. Which was the sort of the twist of, aha, this person was around all along. That you can see a mile away. The resolution of that character and a character around them, I actually thought was quite good, but not good enough to save the entire story, I have to admit. It wasn't one of those things where I'm like, oh wow, That was very satisfying. It was more just like predictable, predictable, predictable. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Okay. I got a whiff of Knock Knock in that bit that I'm talking about as well. Okay, I'll just sort of say what I mean, and if you've heard the story, then you'll know what I mean. I apologise for spoilers, but like I say, it's been out for years. There's a moment where it's almost like a character is forced to die against their own will for love. That's how it comes across anyway, similar to in Knock Knock, how the son is just like, no, I don't want to go, and the wooden woman's just like, well, you've been an arsehole, so bugs are going to eat you now. And it was a bit strange, but that's the bit that I like, which is weird. Maybe it's because I like Knock Knock as well. Maybe that's why I've got a bit of a soft spot for it. But apart from that, guys, I genuinely can't think of too much else about this story that is noteworthy. It's not really a story that I'm in a rush to get back to. There's some good, enjoyable moments, don't get me wrong, and I like the setting and the way that they make you feel like you're in Venice at this certain point of time. I like the Doctor and Charlie again, as always, and I do like that sort of very end moment, but everything else feels a bit bland and predictable, which is a bit unfortunate really, because at this point I have to say, even though I did have problems with Sword of Orion and Storm Warning, I did really enjoy them. This was a noticeable drop in quality for me. But then again, there's some bloody good stories coming up, apparently, so we'll have to see what they are. However, in the comments below though, guys, let me know what you think. I nearly said Sword of Orion. The Venice one. I'm not going to remember its name. It'll be in the title and thumbnail. The Venice one. What do you think? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description as always. So if you would follow me on any of those things, I'd absolutely love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. Hey guys, it is Wingy here, and welcome to... Shut up!